Happy Monday, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to Toys, the Universe, and Everything. This week, we're playing Rampage for the Atari 7800. Is Rampage a real king of the monsters, or is this version so bad even Dwayne Johnson couldn't save it? Well, like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and let's play Angry Muppet Babies Destroy Large Buildings. Rampage. Based on the 1986 Midway arcade game, Rampage for 7800 was released in 1989 by Activision and distributed by Mediagenic. In Rampage, you play as George, Ralph, or Lizzie as you tear a path of destruction from city to city and battle against the army, police, and each other to gain the highest score. The big draw of the arcade original was it was another Midway multiplayer game, this time featuring 3-player co-op or competitive play, depending on how you feel about your friends. The 7800 version is only 2-player, but does allow you to choose from all 3 monsters. You can even eat your buddy when they shrink to human form for points and health. I never knew that. I refrained from that in this session because my 4-year-old Rampage expert helped me record this footage, and you'll see in today's review, and she really hates it when I do that. It is interesting going into this review since the kids and I have clocked a ton of hours into the arcade version recently since we picked up the 1UP Arcade Rampage machine. Stay tuned for our impressions on that thing in a few weeks once we've appropriately kicked the tires on that machine. Lana here is my gamer girl, and she really helped me notice the big differences between this and the arcade game. The graphics are pretty decent for what you'd expect on the 7800 hardware. It looks more abstract than the NES or Master System versions, to be sure, and I do see where the Muppet Baby jabs come from when talking about the character design. Still, the citizens and first responders look good, and your monsters animate and look well enough like the source material. Though the monsters do obviously live in a pixel box that keeps them from having the arcade proportions. It really does look like Ralph, George, and Lizzie are plushy versions of themselves, or even super deformed stylizations. The vehicles and buildings are all well represented, and the naked, unmutated humans do the sidestep, and monsters enter the game on a balloon just like in the arcade. If you're looking for the most arcade accurate looking version of this game to play, this isn't it. But that doesn't mean most of the elements didn't make it in. Rampage may not be the cover girl of coin-op conversions, but that doesn't mean you won't enjoy spending an evening with her. The sound is worth mentioning. I can see a considerable amount of work went into emulating the arcade noises. Even though it does use a lot of Atari standard bloops, the programmers put the title screen music in, the ticker-tape newsreel noise between levels made the cut, and the game itself chugs along with all the necessary effects to make the game sound like Rampage, even though it doesn't quite sound like Rampage. When 2 players are really going at it in-game, you're more likely to notice the Atari's limited number of sound channels. It really cuts back on what you think you should be hearing, as some sound effects will take precedence over other game sound effects. I don't think anyone playing this will be bothered really, because the programmers put a lot of love into squeezing as much game noise out of this effort as the system would allow without using an onboard sound chip to upgrade the game. I seriously doubt anyone would have okayed a third-party 7800 release to have any extra cost-increasing tech added to it, especially in 1989. Still, I have to give the thumbs up to the effort that obviously went into getting the 7800 sound chip to get as close as it does. The gameplay doesn't suffer much from the journey to the 7800. The big differences here are how the damage points of the buildings are spread out, which will stop you from simply holding down and bashing away on the button. Breaking a building feels a little more deliberate. Also, I was never able to successfully jump from one building to the next, though that may be because I'm bad at Rampage. Still, you can sink in the water, eat people, attack each other, smash vehicles, so the experience is mostly here. The tanks and police cars seem to be more of a threat in this version, but that's more of an observation than a complaint. So, what do I think about Rampage? It has a lot of the flaws that Gauntlet has in that they are both multiplayer quarter suckers that lack endings. They're both fun to play, but continuing kills the idea of playing for a high score, same as Gauntlet. Both Rampage and Gauntlet have seen overhauls for the N64 and Dreamcast that really exploded what these kind of games can actually be. Going back to the proto-Rampage experience can still be fun with a friend or my kids, though I will never try to clear all the levels or play for a high score. It remains almost like a toy. It's fun to fiddle with for a few minutes before moving on to something else. It is, however, another excellent multiplayer experience for the 7800, though like Xenophobe, it really needed an ending. But that's a criticism of the arcade game, not just this port. So, do you need Rampage? It's hovering around $30 right now, loose, and for some games, I would say that might be a bit high. But Rampage is fun, does look nice, and considering it is a game that actually should be played, I think it's good enough for the splurge. So yeah, it's a buy for me. Be aware the white label is the 7800 game, the black label is the 2600 game. Even though it says 7800 compatible, that is not the droid you are looking for. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and no matter what your questions are about toys, the universe, everything, remember the answer is always to have fun. And if you have a Play or two like I do, be sure to give her the wireless controller. That is an 8BitDo M30 connected to a Seagull 7800 adapter. I highly recommend both of those things. Makes life so much easier for kids that want to kick cords. Anyway, I really do appreciate you spending time with me. If you want to help me do more, please like and subscribe and share on social media, and let me know in the comments what kind of videos you are interested in. Until next time, everybody.